If you're a federal worker and you'd like to leave the government, but you're struggling with the interview process, I'd like to help. I left at the end of last year, took a little time off, and now I've been interviewing. And when I started, I wasn't very good, but after interviews with 8 banks, 4 fintechs, 2 law firms, and an insurance company, I definitely noticed that I'm getting a lot more callback interviews now than I did at the beginning because of steps I've taken. I'm going to show you a trick that I used with AI to help that. So in the beginning, if I had an interview and I thought it went well, but I didn't get a call back, I was kind of surprised. But what I've done since is now I record the interviews on my phone. So if I have the camera set up and we're doing a Zoom call, that's fine. I don't want to use any software to record it because their software might see that and alert them, and that would be weird. But what I do is I have a ring light here, which is lighting me now. And when I have the call, before the call, I take this phone and I put it on the ring light, and then I have it record me while I'm doing the interview. And then I upload that to YouTube unlisted so that I can see it. Now, I will say I live in DC, which is a state where there's one-party consent and I'm allowed to record without telling the other person. And I don't know where you live, and I don't want to give you legal advice, so look into it yourself and let your conscience be your guide. But I have no plan to put this out anywhere or anything like that. I just put it up there to make me better at interviewing. And I'm going to show you what I did. I'm going to show you exactly what I did using AI to make me better at interviews. So after I recorded these interviews, I uploaded them to YouTube, and I would watch myself and see obvious mistakes. And you can see I've uploaded these and I made them private so that no one would be searching on YouTube and accidentally find them. You can set these for private or unlisted. Either one works. Then what I did is I thought there's got to be a way that AI can help me get better at this. So I use Gemini on Google, and for Gemini to use these videos, they have to be set to public, but I didn't want to set it to public. So I just copied the transcript of these videos and uploaded them to NotebookLM, which is also a Google product. And I'll show you how right now. So if I click on this video, it'll take me to the video. I move down a little here and I hit show transcript. Then once I have the transcript on the side, what I'm going to do is with my mouse, I'm just going to highlight the entire, video like this. I'm going to right click it, sign off, and then I'm going to go to NotebookLM. And for each of these, I'm going to add them to the notes section. So each of these is a link to a separate video. And if I wanted to add another one, I would just put it here, add, and instead of the link or this, I would put paste text. So if the website was public, if I made the YouTube video public, I can just put a link to the YouTube video here. But for privacy reasons, I had it set to private or unlisted, so I can't do that. It won't work with unlisted or private videos. So what I would do is just put the text copied and pasted in here, and I would insert it, and then it would add it to the other videos that I've uploaded the text. And then I asked it specific questions like how I would improve my interview performance. And reading all of those, it gave me very specific tips about the structure and pacing, about not to say certain things, on how to make certain answers shorter, on how to not tell my whole life story, but just tell little 30-second question answers specifically for the questions they're asking. And you can also use this in a way to prepare for an interview. So I found these notes really helpful because I watched my own interviews and I realized that it could be better, but I didn't know how. And so after uploading the transcripts of several interviews of this to NotebookLM, which is Google, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes, it gave me really useful feedback. And then I can ask it different types of questions like, tell me how to answer the objection that it would be hard to transition from federal to the private sector. And then it would give me things based on my resume, specific answers that I can give using previous answers that I've given other interviews, because it has the transcripts, and it gives me sort of a roadmap to follow. So that's what helped with the interview process. Now, what's going to help get the actual interview is also AI, but a different product I use called Google Gemini, and we'll go use that now. So I'll just pick one here. I put jobs on LinkedIn. I'm going to click this here. I'm going to highlight the job description, everything about it, and then I'm going to go to Gemini. And here's what I do for this. I do two things. Like one, a lot of these applications ask you to submit a cover letter, which I think is a waste of time. But if you don't submit a cover letter, it's an easy way for them to just pare the pile down of applications. So here's a trick that's really useful. I'm just going to put this in and say, make me a cover letter for this job. Okay, now this is going to give me a generic cover letter that would apply to anyone. And you wouldn't send it like this because it says things like state 1 to 2 specific things about X, include this. So you'd have to edit this yourself. This is a decent cover letter, but it's not a great one. So the next thing I'm going to do is, having this answer, I will keep that answer. I will pull up my resume here. My name is not really Rudy Arugula, but I will highlight this just to show you. Now I'm going to go back to Gemini and I'm going to say, can you custom tailor it for my resume? And the formatting doesn't matter. I just highlight this and post my whole resume here, and then it will make a custom cover letter that requires very few to no edits, and then I can just copy this and send it with my resume. Now the next thing I can do is I can ask it, can you compare my resume to the job requirements and suggest where I can make changes? And then it'll look at the job description. You don't even have to read the job description, but it'll tell you specifically, these are the job requirements, and this is what your current resume says, and these are things that you should emphasize, cut out, add to, specify, clarify, and that will help. So, this is giving me section by section changes, which is wonderful. So what I suggest is you have one very big, long resume that has everything you've ever done on it, and then use this to sort of pare that down and custom tailor it to the jobs that you're applying for, so that you get past the AI filters that are weeding you out. You're going to use your AI to overcome their AI. And once you've done that, let's say that you have an interview, right? So then you would ask this similar question as I did with Notebook. Can you tell me some likely questions they would ask me based on the role and my resume? And then here they're going to give you some subject matter questions that they would ask me. Tell me about your specific knowledge of Reg NMS, because that is not on my resume and that's a requirement for this job. Also SEC Rule 15C3-5, which I don't have any experience with, but it's letting me know these are the things they would ask me about. And they would give you sort of cues or advice on how to overcome the objections that they would have. So this is one of those star questions that they love to ask on interviews, which I hate, which is situation, task, action, and result. Can you tell me about a time when X? So the suggestion is this requires analysis under urgent deadlines. And here's the star question. Describe a situation where you had to brief senior executives on complex emerging issues with a severely limited time frame, yada, yada. So I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to say, can you suggest an answer to this? And it would give you some examples. It doesn't know what I've done in my entire 20 years, but it says it will give you some guidelines. While serving as special counsel here, there was an unexpected court ruling on X, and then we did this. And you don't have to follow this exactly, but it's going to identify your weak points. So for instance, what would I say if, so one of the common objections is they say, you've worked in the government, private sector is different. How are you going to get used to that? Especially me, who worked more than 20 years, and they gave me specific suggestions or roadmaps for things I could say, not only from government to private sector, but for government to this specific job and this specific employer. So it's a very useful tool that you can use to shortcut things that waste your time, like sending out resumes and preparing for interviews. And I think the two most useful things I found is having a very long resume and using this to pare it down to only the relevant things and not things that the employer doesn't care about, and to upload transcripts of my interviews to NotebookLM so that I can improve my interview process. So some of the things I'm most proud of in my federal service are not things that employers care about. I was chair of the Combined Federal Campaign one year, and that year we broke 2 records for the agency, and I'm very proud of all the work I did there. But a private employer might not care about that, so it sort of keeps me focused on, for this specific job and this specific employer, these specific things are what you should play up, and the other things are part of my story, but they don't need to be brought up because I only need to play the best cards that I have in this poker match. So anyway, I hope you guys found that helpful. I know it's difficult sitting home during a furlough. My 22 years, I've had a few of them that I've went through, and this has gone on. It's one of the longest ones, and missing your paycheck and having this guy say that he doesn't want to pay you. I know this is horrible, especially when they're threatening more layoffs and saying horrible things about you. But if you're sending out resumes, I thought this would be helpful. And if you think it'll be helpful, I'll give you some strategies that I've used in prior furloughs and shutdowns to keep me sane. And if you have suggestions for other videos you'd like to see, just put them in the comments. It would really help me out if you like and subscribe to the channel or leave a comment. It helps with the algorithm. So please use these tools that I mentioned here. I think they're really helpful and will help you get more resumes out, apply to more jobs, and get more interviews and more callbacks. I found it really helpful for me, and I'd like to pass it on to you. So I don't know why people hoard information. I think if I have $1 and I give you $1, I don't have $1 anymore. But if I have an idea and I give you an idea, then we both have the idea. And as I said, I was in the government for 22 years. And I don't like what they're doing to you guys. And if there's any way I can help, I'm glad to do it. So anyway, I hope you found this useful, and stay positive. It looks like dark times, but we've lived through worse before. The great financial crisis, the Cuban Missile Crisis, World War I, World War II, the Civil War. We'll make it through this, all right? Hang in there and help each other out in any way you can. The current administration is trying to pit people against each other and divide us so they can conquer us. But they might be able to beat some of us, but they can't beat all of us. So try to help each other out and stick together. Thanks for your time, everyone.